Mic check. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Excuse me. Check, check, mic check. Check, 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 check. 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 We got anybody in the chat? Do 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 do. Excuse me. Source is popping on stock twits. Anybody in the stream? I see 3 people. Not sure if somebody's in here or not. But if you are, please ask me your stock questions. Let's chat about stocks together. Ooh, excuse me. Down, 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 down. The 50 die. Let's see. Let's figure some stuff out. Let's figure some stocks out. Okay, this one got rejected off the 20-day as well. Not great. Just trying to break out. Excuse me. Do-da-do-da-do. Let's figure out where stocks are headed. That was a false breakout. If you in the chat, let me just say, hey, ho, hey, ho. Do 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 do. Get back above that resistance. Back in the sideways action. Let's see here. Okay. So there's decision time next week. Is this starting an upward trend here? Might be a buy and then a sell if it breaks below. That's a weird upward move though. Let's try this. Let's do a channel. Oh, could be that. Could be trying to channel back up. Interesting. KPLT. Let me put an alert for this guy. See if it breaks down next week. 480. We'll say if it goes below 480. Goes below 480, then we want to have an alert. On to the next one. Root T. Maybe some of you guys will watch this back. I don't know. We will see. See, root kind of looks like it's trying to base here. Just interesting. A little bit longer there. Interesting. Interesting. Thought it was breaking out, but I guess not really. See from that mark, huh? I guess it didn't break out yet. What chart was I looking on? Root got double rejected. It looks like root got double rejected off of 534, which is interesting. So we really need to stay above 490. Looks like we have a bit of support there. Obviously 470. Let's see if we're back below this yet. We are back below that. That's not great. So some more alerts, everybody, or should I say nobody. So we want to stay above. We want an alert if it goes below 490. 490 alert, everybody. Set an alert for below 490. Always want to set alerts. Can't keep track of everything, but if something breaks below, you want an alert to tell you so you can make sure and look at the price action to see if it's a buy or not. I mean, this is very similar pattern to KPLT. The question is, are we starting an uptrend? Or is this just baloney? That's the question. I don't know. I am not sure with Mr. Root. But 490. That's the price to be on the lookout for. Let's play some music in the background. Why don't we? Open sesame. Let's check if this is playing. Gotta see if we got the music playing. See if we got the music playing. It is not playing. How do we get the music to play? Music will be nice. Let's see if we can do audio input. Audio output. I think it's audio input. Built-in microphone, USB microphone, no. Desktop audio, maybe this. Music. Music make me lose control. Figured out how to get the music playing. Okay. That's a good level. Okay, root. Yeah, root, like, it just looks like it might be trying to do a little uptrend here. So have to keep an eye on that. What else do we want to look at? What else other stocks are we keeping an eye on? Facebook. Let's get an idea of what's happening here. It kind of looks like a bear flag, if I'm honest. Honestly, it looks like a bear flag. That's bear flag. Hey Gary, what's up? Appreciate it. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, it's a slow Saturday or slow Friday. What day of the week is it? Yeah, people gotta keep saying it in the videos to remind people that we're doing Friday live stream. Oh, nice puppy, nice. What price did you buy Pubmatic at? What's DND? I don't know what stock this is. Let's see. Never heard of it. I don't think I have, at least. DND. UK. Where's a little... What's DND? Curious. Trying to figure out. 28. Okay, nice. I think it's up to around 30 now, so you got a couple buck gain on that. Doesn't say anything about this company. Yeah, never heard of this company. Interesting. Why'd you buy this company? Legal tech. Okay, that's kind of what it looked like. Yeah, they bounced out of oversold, which is interesting. Looks like RSI might break out on here next week. Whoa, they're back at 12 bucks. That's crazy. Broke down below that trend line. Seems like some gnarly support at 38. Or I guess now resistance. That's interesting. Yeah, 37 to 38. Pretty important price level. Why'd they go down? Was it on earnings or something like that? They didn't have my other chart up. On earnings or something like that. Let's see. No, it doesn't look like they have earnings yet. 12 EBITDA fast growing. Nice. Canadian stock. Is that? Oh, no, wait. This is something else. Or is it Canadian? Yeah, it is Canadian. Why did it break down? Do you know? That's from a long time ago. There ain't much data on this one. Wonder what its Canadian ticker is. Yeah, some big growth year over year. That's pretty explosive. Pretty explosive revenue growth. Yeah, I mean, if what you're saying is right, you know, profitable company. What's their valuation? Is it 3 billion? 2.5 billion. I want to see how their revenue growth is, if it can keep that up. But if it can keep up like 200% revenue growth, then it's for sure a winner. I'll have to put it on my watch list. I'm making some alerts. See if it stays below or breaks up. But it seems like now is a pretty important price. It's either this little... wrong chart. It's either... this breakout was a false breakdown, or it's coming back up to test the breakdown range and it fails. So it's either boop, or it's boop, like that. So we'll see. We'll definitely have to keep an eye on it though. What's the ticker? Are you in Canada? Botched acquisition offer, gotcha. Fell through. Gotcha. Are they on the US market? I'm confused now. What's this company? Yeah, I'm trying to find, for some reason they're not popping up on my, oh, it might be OTC. Maybe that's what it is on the US market. That's why it's not popping up on here. Or on my, Thinkorswim. Let's see if there's an OTC for this one. Die and interesting. But yeah, that's the price I'd be looking at. See what it does here. Seems like a pretty important level. Oh, nice. Got a tip from another service I use. Very cool. Yeah, it seems like this is a very important area. So, yeah. Gotcha. But yeah, seems like it's at a pretty important price. So keep an eye on. This is the breakdown or a false breakdown zone. So it's one of those two. We'll probably find out pretty soon by the looks of it. But yeah, I think before you hopped on, I did a little bit of analysis on Pubmatic. Or wait, no, did I do it on? No, I didn't do it on Pubmatic. I actually want to do some analysis here to figure out what's going on. Let's see here. Okay, it's kind of breaking below RSI on the daily, but I need it to confirm. Really what we were going to want RSI to do is come back here and test that breakout. That's kind of why I'm holding off on buying some more shares, because I just don't know if this is a fake out or not. That's here. The main reason I don't like this stock right now to buy. Oh, your Facebook is your biggest holding, yeah. Yeah, I like Facebook in the long term. I'm assuming you watched my Facebook video. I work in digital advertising, and that's why I'm super bullish on all the advertising platforms. I still think we're like a few years away from regulation on those. I think at some point the US is going to break those companies up. So like they'll break up Instagram and Facebook, they'll break up YouTube and Google. That's really the main two. Microsoft, they might break up Microsoft ads platform with the Microsoft business. At some point, the U.S. government's going to do that because they're, basically have monopolized that ads market. But I think that's going to be a while, at least a couple more years till that happens, and that's why I'm still pretty bullish. And even though people are like having all this negativity towards Facebook, like, oh, all this, like the algorithms have changed and people are getting worse performance. People are still spending money on Facebook for ads. That has not changed. It's got to a point, I said this in the video, it's got to a point where people are reliant on Facebook, and for businesses to succeed, they have to advertise on Facebook. And a lot of companies have switched from traditional marketing. So we're used to spend 80% of your money on, say, like TV or other places. People use all the 80% of their budget on digital advertising now because it typically has a better return on spend. Yeah. I mean, because this is where I think the dilemma is. One is, all these companies have lobbyists that are lobbying for them, and I think that's what has kept them around this long, has allowed them to grow into how big of a companies they are, of just continuing to acquire companies more and more and more. But eventually something's going to switch. I think as, things get a little bit more and more progressive, and I think that will eventually break up those companies, but I don't think anytime soon. But yeah, Pubmatic, I'll probably buy it soon potentially based on how it's been acting, but I'm just gonna wait a little bit longer. I was thinking about buying here at this 21 to 23 range, and I didn't. I got a little too scared, but eventually I will. Exactly. Yeah, everything is going social. Exactly. It is the best monetization model. Google, Facebook, I heard Snapchat's getting a little bit better. I know their stock has exploded, but apparently some new data came out that said that among Gen Xers or Zs, whatever the young kids are, that Snapchat is the app they use the most out of all social apps. It's more than Instagram, it's more than TikTok still. So that was really interesting statistic. So I think that gives this platform more viability in terms of people wanting to advertise on there. But you know, the problem with Snapchat is their ads platform is not very sophisticated, which is where some of the struggle comes in. So they have to get over some of that. You know, like things like TikTok are evolving way faster than they are. So I'm not a Democrat, and it works for Hillary. I love Democrats, but Democrats never have the guts. Yeah. We'll see. I feel like there's a new wave of Democrats coming in that might make some of the, you know, like the AOCs, kind of like the millennial generation that's starting to get into these positions of more influence and power. And eventually, I think things like that will happen. But like I said, I still think we're a few years away from that. But yeah, Facebook stock, I haven't bought yet. I'm still waiting a little bit longer. Just because all the ruckus is still a little fresh, and I haven't really seen a clear breakout on the QQQs yet. It did break above this trend line. Where are we at? So the Qs did break above this trend line this week, which is kind of like around here. It kind of, ironically, like always, it gapped above to do the breakout, and so I think we need to get back, if we are to get to new highs. I think if the Qs break above 374, then I think Facebook might get more up and back into an uptrend, but the Qs haven't broke out yet, and it just kind of has accelerated a little bit too much for me. Like the daily is so overbought, so we're gonna need a little correction here on the Qs, and so if it comes back and fills this gap on kind of RSI needing to come back down a little bit somewhere, I think Facebook will come down with that, and that's where I'm going to consider an entry point on Facebook. But if you're here last week, Gary, we called it perfect last Friday. We said that Facebook would go to 315. Guess where that sucker went? I don't think this is all the way accurate. It actually went to 315 on the dot, I think. So we hit it perfect, which is awesome. So I was considering buying on that dip, but I was still working and stuff, so I took a little bit longer to decide, and then people bought that dip pretty quick, and they bought it up right away. So I'm waiting a little bit. Yeah, I agree. I think that people are worried about the earnings. I just don't think that. I think people are expecting them to be really bad, and I don't think they will be. I think maybe they'll say, like, we're seeing, like, when we look year over year, obviously 2020 was a pretty massive year for digital advertising. Everything went e-commerce, so everybody was spending more on ads. So they do have to comp, last year, Q4, which was really big. Q3 and Q4 were really big for digital advertising. Man, I'm losing my voice. So year over year might look a little rough, but I still think their growth is going to be insane. So I'm a little nervous to buy before earnings, but I doubt they're going to have a bad earnings. It might not be as high as they expected, but it won't be bad. But if they don't beat earnings, then maybe that is considered bad. But we'll have to see. We will have to see. Anybody else in the stream? I see some other numbers. If you're in the stream, any other questions you guys have about stocks? Let me know. But out of Facebook and Google, I like Google stock even more than Facebook. Google just hasn't pulled back enough, which is why I haven't bought Google on the pullback. When they meet, okay. LBBBY. Is that BlackBerry? What the heck? Oh, Bath and Beyond, yeah. Honestly, I don't get what the big fuss is around Bath and Body, personally. Like, so I was shopping for stuff for some bedding like a while ago, and I went into Bath and Body and they just didn't have anything. Like, there was nothing there that interested me. You know, I looked around, we even went to a few stores, and the only thing I ended up buying something there, I believe, but it's because it was on a deep discount and it was from a brand online that I wanted to buy. And I found that it was cheaper at Bath and Body, so the Bed and Bath, and so the only reason I shopped there is because it was half off or something, which I'm assuming Bed and Bath wasn't making much. So I know Jim Cramer for a while was like a big fan of this company. I've never been a big fan of this stock. You know, for me, it's like when I think of what they do, which is like home goods. Hey, Charlie. I don't recognize your name, but welcome to the stream. Oh, you subbed 8 days ago. I actually just see your name there. Maybe you're here. You subbed last week, or I don't know. But welcome to the stream. Yeah, I'll do net in a second. But I've never been a big fan of this company. Let me look at their earnings. Wait, was this? Oh yeah, it is 13. Dang, that did fall a lot. Jesus. Jim Cramer was wrong on this one. Oh yeah, that's a pretty big miss. Wonder what their a rough 2 years? Yeah. So it's happening with all retailers, and I don't think people have priced it in for a lot of companies yet. Maybe companies like Walmart and Target have enough purchasing power to get inventory, but with the backlogs that are happening, it's going to be really, really tough for retailers. And the main thing is with a retail company, you have to have inventory for people to buy. But I think the main difference is with e-commerce, you can put like, hey, it's going to be 2 weeks till you get this, and people will pre-order. Or you can't go in a store and pre-order. Like you can't do that. And so I agree with this statement that retailers are going to be in for a little bit of a trouble here. Oh man, what the heck? Why do I got to sign in for this article? That's silly. Let's see if we got to read this article. But yeah, that's a big win to get the Target, what do you say? Merchandising officer. That's a big win. Because Target has killed it, obviously. This ain't even an article. Doesn't really tell me much. But, I mean, maybe. Let's see what their... So market cap's 1.5 billion. Revenue, 2 billion. But they lost a buttload of money, which is the reason for that pullback. You know, a company like this should be making some net income. So if you can't, if you're not having net income, that's going to put a lot of negative pressure. And I'm assuming what that article said that we couldn't read is talking about margins. So they're not a company that can I guess they can set prices. But I think retailers are getting squeezed the most because you have retailers like Bed and Bath have products from other companies, so those companies are increasing their prices, but a retailer can't increase their prices as much as the company producing the product. And so everybody has slimmer margins, but the retail companies have even slimmer margins. And so like here, yeah, revenues come down a little bit because I don't know why, I'm assuming inventory reasons, but I think that's what that article is talking about, is why there's going to be a little bit of, there's going to have some struggle here. I could see that being a reason, but yeah, this is not pretty for a company that's this established to not make any money in the last year, like since last November, not making any net income. I don't know all the intricacies of the business, but that's always a really big red flag to me for these big companies. I don't care if your margins are really slim, like this, like, okay, $3 billion, you only made at least you're making some money. Like, you really need to make money on these companies. And it looks like on them not making any net income, they've had to pull into their cash reserves from going from 1.4 billion to just over $1 billion. So they're having to, pull in their cash reserves to make up the difference for the business. So some not great signs, so it makes sense why they've pulled back so much. I don't know if they have there was no PE ratio on there. They have an 8. I mean, that's assuming that might be a little bit higher because of what's going on with their revenue, but might be a little bit, might be like double that, but that's interesting. Yeah, canary in the coal mine, yeah. Yeah, I mean, they've pulled back significantly, so maybe that means it's a good opportunity to buy, but was that COVID low was $3? So they're still at where they were pre-COVID. So prices here, stock price pre-COVID was in this range, so who knows? I love Target a lot. I think they are a crazy successful company. They've really found who their market is and they're just going for it. Holy jokes. Okay. Charlie. So is this off earnings or something, or acquisition? Like, what is causing this? This is crazy. We'll have to look. We're going to have to look up an article on this company because this is a crazy move. And that's going up for some reason. See if we can find an article, because I don't really know much about the company. I know what they are, but I don't know why they've jumped so much. I mean, this is where I have an issue. I don't care how much a company is growing. To have a $52 billion market cap and to have, what is that, half a billion to, $750 million in revenue. And I don't know if they made any money. I don't know if they made any money last quarter, but to also be, yeah, they're having 50% growth, but they have never made money. I don't care how much they're moving. I'm not touching that company. But we can look technically to see what's going on. So it seems like this pullback here, RSI pulled back pretty significantly. But now it's back above that 50, so they've had a pretty successful, back in May, they've basically been going up. Their RSI's been above 50. They broke below for some reason. I'm not sure the news. We would have to look more in depth on that. But now they're just rocket shipping. So I think I've said this before. Let's see what this trend line. Even this is a little steep of an angle to be successful. Let me see 1 second. See if we have a little zone here to take a peek at. Not really. Let's find something. There gotta be something we can find, some kind of pattern going on here. So even assuming that this is the uptrend, so this is not sustainable. Anything like this steep of an angle is just not sustainable for a company. At some point, what I like to say is when something goes up, it eventually comes down. And the steeper the angle up, the steeper the angle down is going to be. You know, like here we saw steep angle down and it recovered. But seeing this trajectory up this way, we're going to have to see a pullback at some point. So trying to find what that, you know, pullback zones could be. See if we ever had a price. Nope, never had a price this high. I mean, this just looks like a straight momentum play, but I think it's got a little too hot on the momentum. Let's go. So the main thing here I would call out is the 20-day. So it has a bullish structure on the moving averages here. They're in the right order. The 20-day, the 50-day. But at some point it's going to have to come back to this 20-day. And so, I mean, we're seeing a little bit of a slowness here. So like if we were to draw lines, we have this crazy uptrend, but now we have this uptrend. So there's a slowing of the uptrend. And typically, you know, you can see it almost in every pattern. You know, something will go steep and then it will become less steep and then it will come down. And the rate of that pattern always changes. So up, less up, down. You know, everything kind of makes it this pattern. And in an uptrend, the downs are less high than the ups. So we're still in an uptrend overall for this stock. But when we see something accelerate so high so quickly, we're obviously going to have another steep decline downwards. So we have a steep angle here. We're potentially starting to go a little more here, and then eventually we'll probably go like this. But then we're probably going to see a steep angle downwards just because it's got overly hot. And so looking at some areas, we don't know where this 20-day is going to be, but it's accelerating pretty quickly to the upside. So, you know, depending how long this thing stalls out up at this price point, you know, we could see RSI or the 20-day come up to this 150 range or so. So just keep track of the 20 moving average. Let's go to the hourly to see where we have some support, because we're at all-time highs. So the only way to figure out where support is to figure out where these little sideways price actions went on the significant move higher. So we're kind of just finding those ranges. So it really seems like this could even be a pivot point here, kind of. So pivot points we have on the pullback, and we're going to want to watch that in connection with the 20 moving average. Let's see where the 4 hour is, see if we can get a little better reading of where it could be headed up. Okay. So eventually the daily chart pattern is going to catch up closer to the 4 hour. So the 4 hour is at 147 for the 20-day. And it's at 139, so it's like $10 apart. That's pretty significant, but this is going to keep accelerating upwards. So as this accelerates upwards, we're going to want to see where the 20 moving average and these support or these support lines match up. And so eventually this is going to stop going as significantly higher, and it's going to start arching a little bit. And we're going to want to pay attention to where this arch, you know, starts to settle out around these support zones. So assuming this is like a trajectory, if we start to see a slowdown in the upward movement, the 20-day might look something like this. And so on the pullback, this is where we start to see where it could come down to. I doubt it's only going to come back to 162. I would assume it would come back a little more steep than that. So, you know, if this hangs out for a while, which it could do, and slowly make its way down, you know, we could only get a move back to 158 if it goes sideways long enough and lets the 20-day catch up. You know, it could move a little bit fast. This is just an assumption. Also, I don't know how this is going to play out. I'm just using it as an example. But say it comes down a little bit quicker, maybe we'll come back down to 155. You know, but that 20-day and support are probably going to line up somewhere, and that's around where the pullback will come to. So if you like this stock, if you've done more due diligence, I don't really know much about the company outside of what they do, what their success has been. They seem really expensive, but if they have enough people that believe in the company, that doesn't really matter. And so those are kind of what I would be looking for, the 20 EMA along with support zones and where those match up. Okay, I'm gonna do one more. Viacom, you still here? Mr. Viacom man? So if you're here or not. So there's two companies that are very similar and they went through a similar drama here. It's Viacom and Discovery. I'm personally more of a Discovery fan. And the reason I'm more of a fan of Discovery is because they're merging with HBO Plus. So HBO Plus is breaking off of AT&T, and then Discovery and Discovery and HBO Plus are going to become one company and integrate their platforms, which I think is going to create the third, I would say, streaming mega power. You know, you have Amazon and Netflix, and then you kind of have Hulu in there. I personally think that HBO is going to really step up their game integrating with Discovery, because now this business can solely focus on streaming. Before, AT&T is a really big company. They do a lot of things. But now that company's breaking off, they can really focus on streaming. And so I personally love the HBO platform. I think they have the best content out of anywhere. I think Netflix is having a really hard time keeping up with creating enough new content for people. And that's, you know, Viacom, they have their own streaming platform. So what's happening is all these companies are taking their shows off of Netflix after their contracts end, and they're putting it on their own platforms. So that means that Netflix has to create enough new content. So their business model is shifting. Now it's eventually going to be, and you'll see it, is it's almost strictly, I would say the majority of it, the new stuff that comes out, is almost all Netflix originals. And so that's changing their business model, and it's getting much more expensive. Their margins aren't as big as it used to be. And so HBO being here for a while, and they're figuring out how to do streaming better. Discovery, they already have the infrastructure of their own shows, as well as HBO. They're figuring out how to do it. So I like Discovery, DISCA, better. But for this stock, it seems like we're in a descending triangle. So it's kind of coming into this space. You know, like I say, and every time, watch the 20 day. So as you can see, a lot of time we hit the 20 day and move back below, or we hit the 50 day and move back below. So we've been rejected over and over, and we're still in this downtrend. So I'll be looking for this to continue to kind of do a slow downturn into this triangle. That's really what I'm looking for on this stock. I would say that's as much insight as I have. If it does break below this support zone at 37.50, you know, then we could see a move to 34, which is a few bucks lower. And then if we see really a free fall, you know, it could come back to 31. So you could have $7 of downside if we break below this descending triangle. But like I say on all videos, look at the 20 day, look at the 50 day. If we can break above those and hold above those, that will change the trend. And then we kind of see RSI hanging around this zone. We'll also see RSI break above 50, and then we'll be on the top of the 50 instead of below the 50. So that's what you're going to want to look at for that trend. But that's all I have for you guys. I don't know if anybody's still here. It looks like you all jumped off. But thanks for coming by as always. I really appreciate it. And I'll be again with you guys here next Friday. So I appreciate it coming by if you're still here. Appreciate the support, everyone. Talk to you again.